You know that part at the very beginning of the New Testament? The long list of names? Yeah, the part that pretty much everyone skips. Well, what if I told you that seemingly boring family tree is actually a brilliant puzzle, and the first clue is a deliberate mistake?
I mean, seriously, let's be honest. Most of us see that wall of begats and our eyes just glaze over. We just want to get to the action. But the author put it right at the front for a reason. This list isn't just some historical record. It's more like a coded message, a secret map that actually changes how we're supposed to read the entire story that comes after. Okay, so let's dive right into the mystery. The text itself, in Matthew chapter 1, verse 17, lays it out for us. It says there are 3 sets of 14 generations, which adds up to a nice, neat 42. But if you actually go and count the names in that last section, from the exile in Babylon to Christ, you only find 13, which means the grand total is 41. And this isn't some modern translation error, it's there in the oldest manuscripts we have. So, what's the deal? Is this just a simple math mistake in a sacred text? Or, and this is where it gets really fun, is the so-called mistake actually the first clue? Is the author deliberately leaving a flaw in the open to make us stop, scratch our heads, and look for a totally different kind of meaning?
Look, if we're just focused on the math, we're going to hit a dead end. But what if the numbers are a misdirection? What if the whole point is to get us to shift our focus away from counting and toward reading? What if the key to this entire puzzle is hiding in plain sight in the very first word of the whole book?
So forget about trying to find a lost name to make the math work. That's not it. The real key, the thing that cracks this whole case wide open, is one single, incredibly powerful Greek word, Biblos.
In the original Greek, the Gospel of Matthew kicks off with this word, Biblos. Now, on the surface, it's pretty simple. It means book or genealogy, which, makes perfect sense for what follows. But underneath the surface, this word is really, really strange.
So here's the weird thing about it. The word Biblos has a masculine ending, that os sound, but the noun itself is grammatically feminine. The source material for this explainer puts it perfectly. It's like a woman dressed in a man's clothing. And for an ancient reader, that would have been a huge flashing light, a signal that said, hey, pay attention. This is no ordinary book.
To really get why this gender-bending word is such a huge deal, we have to compare it to another common Greek word for book. This contrast isn't just grammar nerd stuff. It reveals a hidden code about 2 completely different kinds of books you find in the Bible.
And this is the crucial difference. On one side you have our word Biblos. Remember, it's a feminine noun. It's used to describe a container of life, a living story that actually gives birth to something. Think of the book of life. But on the other side you've got Biblion. That's a neuter noun. It's just a record of deeds, a historical ledger that testifies to what's already happened. Think of the books of judgment. One is alive and gives birth, the other just records the facts.
So, by kicking things off with the word Biblos, the author is sending a massive signal. He's telling us from the very first word that this genealogy, this list of names, isn't a Biblion, it's not some dusty old ledger. No, it's a Biblos. It's a living, breathing, feminine story that is about to give birth.
And this is the core revelation. The author is framing not just this family tree, but the entire story of the Old Testament that came before it as a Biblos. It's this whole epic story that has been carrying a hidden seed, a divine life, just waiting and waiting for the moment of birth.
And once you see it that way, the list of names completely transforms. It's not a historical headcount anymore, is it? It's the story of a divine pregnancy. The seed is that promise of faith given way back to Abraham. The gestation is the long, long journey through all those generations of waiting. And the birth, of course, is the arrival of Jesus, emerging from right inside the story itself. Which brings us right back to our number. 42 was never supposed to be a literal, exact count. It's symbolic. In the ancient world, numbers had all these deeper meanings, and 42 here represents a complete cycle. It's the perfect amount of time needed for this spiritual journey, this gestation period, to finally be complete. So now we can go back to our original problem, but with totally new eyes. The real puzzle was never, hey, where's the 42nd person? The real question was always, why does the author tell us there are 42 when he knows darn well there aren't? And here it is, the big answer. The missing generation is the whole point. The discrepancy is a deliberate flaw. It's this beautiful little tripwire designed to make the careful reader stumble, to stop counting names on their fingers, and to start looking for the real story, the symbolic, theological birth narrative that's been hidden in the text all along. Okay, so let's just recap the key takeaways here.
First off, Matthew's genealogy is not some dry historical ledger. It is a living story. It's a Biblos that's designed to give birth. That list of names, it symbolizes a 42-stage journey of faith. The goal is to understand that spiritual path, not just to count the names. And finally, that missing generation, it wasn't a mistake at all. It was the clue that unlocks this entire profound meaning.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If a code this deep and this clever is embedded in the very first word of a book that most of us just skip right over, what other secrets, what other amazing layers of meaning are hiding in plain sight in texts we think we already know so well? It's just a powerful reminder to always read with curiosity.